Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. Well, it is Monday, so it is my poetry day, and of course, Mary Oliver is one of my favorite women poets. This is called Gethsemane, garden where Jesus was captured, right? The grass never sleeps, or the roses, nor does the lily have a secret eye that shuts until morning. Jesus said, "Wait with me," but the disciples slept. The cricket has such splendid fringe on its feet, and it sings, have you noticed, with its whole body, and heaven knows if it ever sleeps. Jesus said, "Wait with me," and maybe the stars did. Maybe the wind wound itself into a silver tree and didn't move. Maybe the lake far away, where once he walked as on a blue pavement, lay still and waited wide awake. Oh, the dear bodies, slumped and eyes shut, that could not keep that vigil, how they must have wept, so utterly human, knowing this too must be part of the story. Yeah. You think you wouldn't fall asleep if God was your co-pilot? But that's how we are. All right. So for my journaling questions, how did you view your parents or your grandparents aging? And if they've already passed away, how is their death process? Just an interesting thing to review and look at how your own choices about your own aging and your own mortality have been influenced by what you experienced in your family or are still about to experience in your family. So let me know, how did your parents age or die, and how does that influence you about your own aging and mortality process? Let me know what you're thinking. I'll be glad to pong it back and let you know what I'm thinking. All right, now, where are we today? Well, my teacher always reminds you, intelligence in yoga is in the heart, not in the brain. The brain can be used scientifically and technologically, but it's not near the heart. When you practice yoga, it's going to support, uplift, and maintain your character and a certain code of behavior, which is going to lead each individual, which means you and me, into a state of mindlessness. Doesn't mean you don't have access to your thinking body, but your thinking brackets off your body, as I like to say. And in that mindless state, when you're not thinking, just experiencing, that's where freedom and beatitude are. Now, my other teacher, Ram Dass, always acknowledges the truth of yoga, which is called Sat Chit Ananda, ultimate being, ultimate awareness, ultimate bliss. The awareness of being is bliss. So that's why they say that statement, behind all polarities, I am. Just keep that mantra, I am, and don't put anything next. Because behind that I am is the peace that connects you to the deepest aspect of yourself. Know the mind's judgments and opinions just as the mind's judgments and opinions, and never doubt your own true beauty, because that's part of that peace that's behind the I am. When you contact that, you end up with what we call Buddha consciousness, the consciousness that's the core of every being. And of course, at some point, you become like a bodhisattva in the Buddhist tradition. You're illuminated and one with the world, and therefore you want to help out because you see how many people are struggling, how many people are in pain. So compassion just becomes the reason for your living. Your humanity is moved by that, and you become the vehicle to pour through a certain kind of grace or knowledge or helpfulness. It's a very attractive thing, the power of compassion and the power of nirvana, to go beyond the selfish desire game, blow out the flame of the selfish desire game. Now, Freud's view was that most of our personality is fixed in childhood, and whatever experiences you had there or trauma, you're relatively changed throughout your adult life. But Jung had the idea of individuation, that there's a developmental process for adults. In order for you to become a complete human being you're destined to be, that's why nature gives you 70, 80 or more years. It's not just a mere appendage to the first half of life when you were youthful and maybe passed on your genetic material. There must be some meaning for the species, because nature programs for success, and the reason is that you have more time to grow into who you truly are. Now, the personal struggle that I've learned from my men's work, and this is not limited to any gender, is that the older I get, the more I continue to struggle, and I'm less bound by outer convention, fitting in and doing the things that is right to do for society, because the neighbors will think certain things if I don't. So I wanted to challenge how much outer convention I continue to bow the knee to, and also how much inner cowardice I have, how I choose not to step into my courage or power, but think small, play small. But in the end, I want to live from my deepest core, and I believe you do too. And so we all have a job to attempt as fearlessly as we can to give our gifts to the world and not wait. And that's why I keep coming back to affirmation. I have to positively reinforce these things in myself. And so the first thing I positively reinforce is that we all have our root in the source of existence, which is pure spirit. And our dominant intent, I believe, is to stay connected to that and help other people, be catalysts for them to stay connected to it. And to reach for that is something that's natural. It's not weird. It's just more deliberate. So once you realize you cannot lose anything of worth by acquiring the knowledge of truth, sacrifice there has to be, but only of those things you're happier without. And since nothing can permanently deny its own nature, remember your living spirit and your mere presence heals and blesses with no special effort on your part. Just go out there and strut your stuff in the world. Next Saturday, I'll be doing the second in a group of 3 therapeutic classes at Chai Yoga Shack, 1942 North Levitt, from 2 to 5 p.m. Come and join us there. Check it online on their website or GabrielHalpern.com. Look forward to seeing you there. Have a great day.